स्कूल गई थी आप? कितने साल का हो गया मिजान?
मिजान 4।
केक काटा था? चलो तब तक मैं इनको लिख देती हूँ, फिर थोड़ी देर के लिए टेस्ट याद करने के लिए दूंगी।
ये सारे मुझे याद पता है, लेकिन किसान पे जो मैंने क्वेश्चन आंसर वो नहीं है।
ये भी किया है?
नहीं,
ये मैंने किया है?
नहीं मैंने किया।
तो यही तो पूछ रही हूँ। मैंने किया है।
तुमने किया है।
गलत है ये,
निशान में गलती होगी।
निशान में नहीं। देखो इन दोनों में क्या 7 कॉमन है, 7 ले लिया। इधर हमने 7 ही ले लिया तो 1 बचा ना। अगर
गुड
हम कुछ
इवनिंग
नंबर
सर।
उठा लेते हैं तो 1 बचता है। इधर फिर 7 उठा लिया तो एक्स वाई बच गया। इधर z कॉमन ले लिया तो क्या बचा, एक्स वाई माइनस माइनस, तो इधर 1 ऐसे आएगा ये। चलो बाकी कल कराऊंगे। क्या दिया था आपको हिफ्जा?
गुड इवनिंग।
से हैं? ये क्या बात हुई? कहीं भी बैठो।
दीदी वैसे तो ये हमारा टेस्ट हो चुका है,
हम्म,
लेकिन हमें पता नहीं मुझसे बोले, लेकिन जब आज मैं ट्यूशन में जाऊंगी, आज मुझे ट्यूशन पे आ तो गई नहीं है।
मैंने क्या बोला था आपको?
मैं तो ये बता रही थी ना क्वेश्चन।
कुछ समझाना बाकी है, कुछ आपने टेस्ट कम दिया था?
नहीं, टेस्ट तो मैंने सारे दे दिए। वो तो मैंने वो उतारे थे एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चन।
अच्छा हाँ, एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चन जो भी उतार के उसका आपको टेस्ट देना है, क्योंकि मैंने सारे इसलिए टिक लगाए हैं ताकि आप याद करके टेस्ट दें, क्योंकि हम जल्दी जल्दी अब याद करने का काम निपटाएंगे। सारे दे दिए कॉपी के।
नहीं ये नहीं, संसद हमें क्यों चाहिए,
ये दे दिया, हाँ इसके नेक्स्ट ये भी दे दिया।
है ना।
हाँ
भारतीय संविधान
Can you mute your mic, please?
Miss Kiran, your mic is on. Please mute it.
Okay.
Sir, some students are waiting to join the class. They are not able to join. Can you please let them in?
Hmm. Actually, that's the problem lies with me. I have very little idea. Technically, I'm very ignorant how to let them join this meeting. Actually, can you help?
Yes, sir.
You please let them join. If it is possible, if you please you try to let them join with us.
Sir, only the meeting host can let them join, sir. All the students. Sir, we can ask the RC center to help you let them join in.
Okay. Mm, let me telephone them so
Yes, sir.
that
Yes, sir.
okay. So it's already told, and I think they have allowed them to join. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Those
Good
who are
afternoon, sir.
waiting, have they joined?
Good
Good
afternoon, sir.
afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. They have been able to join now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Should we start now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Actually, as per your suggestion, I have to discuss, I'm going to discuss the alchemist of Ben Jonson, right? And Ben Jonson is contemporary, and he was most popular in those days, right? And next to Johnson has his own age and Jacobean era, actually famous for Ben Jonson. And we can say Johnson was a celebrity of his time, and English takes by storm with every man in its humor. Actually, he followed with the comical satire and the famous play, if I've heard, every man out of his humor. That was, you can say, that theoretical success accompanied by considerable controversy. His characters and the plots, you can say, were very lifelike, right? And uh, you can say that was the charge of attacking particular persons. He had to declare his purpose, portraying follies, not individuals. Actually, he was not trying to satire a single one, but he reflects the common characteristics of human being. That how we are very greedy and we are running after power and money, and as if it has become an instinctive quality of all human beings, right? And that has been shown, and this is the common characteristics that we find in all his satirical plays or humorous plays. The common characteristics of all human beings uh, are reflected. That is reflected in his plays, in its writing, that we can see. The Alchemist is among the most popular comedies, and you can say all-time favorite of uh, theater goers, and it is concerned in such depth that it retains its relevance even today, and its emerging modernity. Our greed, the greed after greed for everything else, you can say, right? And Johnson's emerging modernity is highlighted in the recent reassessments by T.S. Eliot in England and Harry Lewins in USA, as aids towards analysis and appreciation. The first two units of the play that deals with the dramatic career Ben Jonson. And you can say that Johnsonian comedy. And next three present varying perspectives on the major aspects of the play, its structure, performance, stagecraft, characterization, and language, and critical reception. So these types of things that you find there. And I'm giving you brief idea about the play The Alchemist, and that was played in 1610 by the king's men while the plague had broken out in the area. Alchemy is employed as a metaphor for man's proneness to be gold. And you just mark this one. We want to be gold. Many critics, they also consider this play, Alchemist, the best play of Ben Jonson, like Volpone and this one. So it starts with Lafitte, the master who is away in the country, because most of times he spends his time in that town residence. But when the plague had broken out, he left the place and went to live in the country house. And it was given, the charge of the residence was given to his servant. Only 2 to 3 characters, most important characters are there. Only 3 characters. If you remember, one is servant, that Captain Pace, and collude with Subtle, the quack, or you may say doctor, and dual command, the whole. These 3 characters. You can see Captain Pace, the servant, and his company, Subtle, and dual command, the whole. They designed to defraud a number of goals through promising to fulfill their fond hopes for youth, business, love, etc. The sudden return of Lockheed forces the chiefs to flee and abandon their enemy. And you can see how the dramatic comic realism, whether it be in the varied jargon of diverse professions, the evocation of the Blackfriar neighborhood, the mastery of the alchemical know-how, or the numerous topical reference. Actually, these things locate the play firmly in Jacobean London. So for this reason, it has achieved the universal appeal, despite occasional obscurity of phrase such remained unrivaled. The morality that find Lovett's appropriating them plant to himself. And actually, the morality of Lovett's that we come upon is the resolution of the play's action has been most discussed and displays enormous and enduring success in the theater. It's, you can say, indisputable. The forced economy of the action, the immense improvisation, and demanded of the actors, and the sustained threat of exposure contribute to its power on the stage. So this is a bit idea that you got about the play, that how three characters, subtle, face the captain, and Dome. These are three characters. And you can say three chiefs. And this play involves the chiefs. Subtle, Dole, and Face. Then the victims are there. They come to achieve different success of their own matters, business and social recognition, marriage, argument. Only it's a race to march ahead. And you see, a subtle Jeremy the butler and Dole Common, who comes into a venture typewrite to cogent 8 calls. The first one is Defer, the clerk. Next one is Drugger, the tobacconist. Next, the knight. Sir, Epicure Mamun. Then the gamester, Soli. Another two Puritans, Tribulation and Ananias. Next, the boy Castile and his widow sister, Dame Plant. So, in absence of love wheat, as he had left the place to escape from plague, the cheats carry on their trade briskly, luring potential goals by appealing to their delusion. Now we got idea about these characters and three cheats. Now let us see that how Ben Johnson emphasized on characters and reflected the nature of humanity. How three cheats bring people for rich and fortune. You see, and the basic thing that we find, greed and sexuality, right? And here the play also deals with, it's a galenic medical theory. People are predominantly influenced by humors, and actually they promise, that is philosopher's stone. Philosopher's stone, it's a chemical stone what subtle promise can turn everything upside down. That philosopher's stone can change your fate, can change your age, can change, can sort out your problems, and can cure disease, sickness, and it is, you can say, the mythological artifact that can cure any sickness and turn any metal into gold. Any metal into gold. And a touchstone, you must have heard, as we belong to different regions, so we must have got this idea, touchstone. If you let that stone touch with any object, with iron metal, that iron will turn off gold. If you touch this with anyone else with certain problems, then it will solve the problem. So it's a kind of, you can say, mythical artifact which helps greediest man to solve their problems. And here, that this we find, you can also see that how cheats, they're arranging, they're operating in different ways, and perhaps out of different motives, when they form the customs of their rules, the achieve the characters of the disguise, the part, but the part of the satirical play that explores the theme of greedy deception and the search for wealth and power, as I told earlier. And this play, The Alchemist, it is set in London in love with a residence. as if a group of con men who set up a fake, you see, they have set up a fake laboratory in order to swindle wealthy clients. And Subtle is the central figure, the alchemist. And he stands with one foot in the region of the prodigious, with the other planted firmly on the ground of contemporary human nature. It is through him the planet has exposed and satirized the cheats and swindlers who flourished evidently in its age. Right? And the alchemist Subtle, he pretends to be wizard and promising people to make them rich and Superman. So people, they come rushing one after another. And alchemy, a pseudoscience that was widespread social malady in Jacobean age. The jargon of alchemy is the basis of the alchemist metaphors and our echo of how he thinks. And throughout play, you will find he is the complete swindler who derives full satisfaction from his job of swindling. That when face is not particularly concerned about not finding Saul in town, as after all, there is no money to be made from Sudley, and Subtle has its mind on higher things than money. You see, Subtle is most interesting when he plays various roles, because this particular character, he changes his role at a moment's notice and behaves differently with different dupes. Okay, and you may say that Subtle in ordinary clothes. First, he enters in ordinary clothes. The only symbol his craft being the vial of acid that he carries. That's the acid. But when Depot, one of the customers, arrives, he dons his robes and he engaged himself in magic. And he assumes the dignity that is required and he pretends reluctance to take money. You see, this is the common thing, the man who is cheap and really who wants to take something, first you'll deny. No, I don't like this thing. I can help people, but not in exchange of money. I want to extend my help to people. And this is the common nature that how cheat they play their role. We find with this character Subtle. He assumes the dignity that is required and he feigns reluctance to take money. He's equally dignified with Dragar, but he reads his forehead or his palm, and in his dealings with Mamun, you see, because he's a great aspirant, a pure Mamun, a knight in sorts of philosopher's stone, Mamun. And whoever come to this place, they come with certain desire, right? And the pearl, he has also, by profession, Depper was a clerk, but he does not have common sense. And he's the first customer. Depper is the first customer who is asking for more money, right? And Deppers was promised to meet the MEG-2. So this is the grade of Depper. And as the first customer, he's easily gone. To be believed that the Queen of Fairies in his aunt, and he is fond of him. And he inflicted with most humiliating personal indignities. And he salutes anything, including that even if he was attacked by them later, and he endured that also. And Dragar was the second customer. And Dragar was a merchant. He came to know how to design shop for better sales. So Subtle, he designed the shop for better sale. And he returned with his, again, he come back because he's a character. It's not only the tradesman with modest ambitions. He also intend to open a new business, tobacco business. So he's in sort of a lucky side, and he put that like a smiling Buddha, like turtle, the water plate. These are the symbol of auspicious symbol. If the business people they put that in their shop, they can get better profit and all horoscope read so that you will know whether you will be successful or not. He is very keen on knowing how arrange his merchandise and sales on the best scientific principle so that the supernatural forces will be favorable to him. So his quest is not for philosopher's stone, but for lucky signs and days. Okay. So, you see, Drugger is an example. The side of Al-Khami, which commanded to the plain, prosaic, and Philistine, who wanted to ensure his business or to steal a march upon trade rivals by more scientific methods than theirs. Like all business persons, all are very competitive and they want to surpass. They're competing with each other. And here people are there. The ridicule for pseudoscience is here compounded with the ridicule of a man of sheer sense for the developers in science who try to make learning do the work of Mother Wheat and look the book of knowledge to take the place of practice. So Draga himself proposing to plan his shop uh, by this magic or necromancy. And Castrel, another character who eager to qualify for the company of the other, and Castor was very angry boy, and he was a fighter, and he had as the character come with his uh, sister, widow sister. So Dragar is a businessman, and he paid his money for knowing lucky signs and dates. He would have succeeded in his business. But unfortunately for him, the king of swindlers left him with the possibility of marrying a young, beautiful, wealthy widow, Dame Plant. Right? So the man had come with a purpose and it is motivated, and again suddenly jumps from his own thoughts because his point was not fixed, his aim was not fixed. So Dragar was the second customer. Therefore was the first. See. And in this, so we then these are the characters, the main two customers, those who come. Then we also Puritans, they come and and that is Ananias, as I told, he came and he was quite fed up with this process and tribulation wholesome, and other small characters like Sorley, Castile, Demplant, and even if the man Lovewit was given, you may consider them main character, minor character. They're not that, but the important don't come on. Epicure, Mammon. So let us see. We know that chips, their design, everything has been exposed. And As I told, subtle, the most interesting character who plays various roles, changes his role at a moment's notice. And this is not a small thing because the character which has been designed by the playwright, that it is the common quality that we find with every and each individual. You see, man is controlled by the situation. So the action, the thought we have, our thought and action both are controlled by situation. That the character subtle that reflect the common characteristics of all human beings. We say one man is good if certain situation came and the man find himself in problem, he will certainly change his action and thought. So subtle may be a comical character, but he is interesting because he is reflecting the common characteristics of all human beings. Because when he plays various roles and his action changes his role at a moment's notice and behaves differently with different dues. And at the very outset, when we find the play, we find him in common dress. But just after a moment, we find Draper arrives. He dons his robes and he is found to be engaged in magic. And he put him in the status, he assumes the dignity that is required for the character. I told that he want to give everything, but not in exchange of money. He was paying for that, but actually that was not intention. They were doing all these things only to cheat people to earn money. Okay. And he's equally dignified with Dragar. And he reads his forehead and his palm and deals like an astrologer. In his dealing with Mammon, you'll find subtle apparently become the completely dedicated alchemist, working with his ambition to achieve the philosopher's stone. Actually, they have not achieved that because all that laboratory, it was made only they are preparing this philosopher's stone so that will change the fate and fortune of all human beings. And those they are giving this thing in advance so that subtle would utilize the first discovery as per the expectation of the customers. So he to be achieved. And he told he is very high aspirant. He wants how to argue, how to defend others, right? How to surpass others. With this intention, Mamun had come to collect that philosopher's stone. And the beginning, he has also given this hint to Mamun, and the noble thing that I am going to achieve, and the labor that I invest, my dedication, my sacrifice, all will achieve success if any sinful thing will not take place within. And if any sinful thing take place, the thing that I am going to achieve, I may not achieve that. And this is the declaration, right? That the impure thoughts, it means he wants to justify that I am pure person. I'm going to achieve this philosopher's stone. But if any negativity is found, then the achievement will be ended by nothingness. You imagine. And impure thought will result in the failure of achieving that philosopher's stone. You see, is worthy of the awe with which Mammon treats him. Because Mammon, they are dealing in such a cunning manner, you just can't imagine. You must have observed that when Johnson takes care of all these things, you see highly educated persons, politicians, even if lawyers, they go for this magic. And the man who is carrying that magic business and assuming and reflecting his characteristics as an auspicious person, as a religious person, he's a very ignorant person, but he cheats to highly educated persons. He cheats to politicians, and those who cheat others, and this common man, he could able to cheat to big cheaters, you see. So this sense that Johnson reflects in this play, and we find this common thing that how highly educated people are exploited by ignorant persons and their cunning. See, so subtle is not a holy doctor, right? But the servant of Mammon, surely he suspected, because Mammon, Sorle was a common man, and Sotu was a common man. Sotu was acting like a doctor, like a scientist who was on the research mode to find out something, and he wants to extend his help not in exchange of money, but he wants to provide that job free of cost. But a common man's attitude is realized by another common man, sorry, the servant of Mammon, and he could understand. He could guess, or you may say that he could sense the attitude of Sutler. And he describes the process. He speaks with dignity and authority as though he has forgotten that no experiments are in progress and no works has been done when he explains the rationale of coming to study is the very spirit of sweet reasonableness. A man who is secure in his knowledge and has only pity for the skeptic who does not understand. Finally, when the fake explosion takes place, he succeeds in convincing Mamun that it has occurred due to Mamun's sin. You see, because Mamun, Dole was there, you see, and Dole was told she was the fairy queen, and Mamun was fond of, because he was also fond of sex. And how? And beforehand they have given this information to Mamun. So before achieving this success, if any sinful works will take place, no possibility to achieve that things. And you see, so they let Mamun deal with that woman, that whore, and let him perform that sinful work only to tell Mamun in return that your sinful work made you failure. We are not responsible for that. You deserve that because you are told everything has to be performed very auspiciously and with positive mentality. And you could not wait till that time, and before that you have engaged with certain sinful work, so that how could you achieve that philosopher's stone? You just mar. It's a fake explosion takes place only to let Mamun know. He succeeds in convincing Mamun that it has occurred due to Mamun's sin. Mamun's sin made that explosion behind the curtain, and the thing was going to be achieved very short time. It was disturbed. So shuttle adopts an entirely different image and it's consistent in it, right? And it's consistent in it. It's stubborn and opinionated and impatient. So if you just mark in other play of Johnson, in other play of Johnson, Johnson's Volpone, that Volpone ends in a very to subtle. So subtle is despoiled of the explicit poetry which breaks in lyric path from Volpone. Because Volpone's other name is Fox, the fox. And you just mark how intelligent, subtle is and how he was managing to handle witty persons. And how the intelligent man is betrayed in this context. We can that subtle you see, it is not only the character that reflect the common characteristics of all cheaters, even if in the present time, in this present days that we come upon, we also come upon this thing. Okay. Nowadays we find we are living on the moon. We are observing the entire activities of the universe, keeping our feet on the moon. In spite of all that, we also go to a magician. We also consult with magician. We see what happens to intelligent persons. They don't understand because we all are competing how to make ourselves great, how to establish ourselves in society. And this is the common thread. For this reason, even if the man with high status, with high rank, they go for these common things. Even if the man in the position of prime minister, in the position of president, they go for this necromancy. They believe this necromancy, they believe this magic, because they know this will change the fate and fortune, and they understood. They know this because this magic could change their fate, could make all impossible possible, right? So this became the, it's, you may say, this is the common thing that we find all times to come. See, and you just see the servant, that face has not one face. The name is face, but he has many face. And he that plays a common man, a servant of love wit, and friend to subtle, varied roles, and wears many masks. When we come upon this character in the beginning of the play, Leo's clients for subtle that face. Leo's clients for subtle by using his skills and shrewdness. Both Shuttle and Pace, they live in the same residence, and they have managed themselves with a single woman doll, the whore. So it is Face who builds up the image of Shuttle as a doctor, Shuttle as the man who can make the philosopher's stones, because he has given this impression and idea to public, to let the public know that he's not only a doctor but a magician who was dealing with the world of spirits. And he also spread this news far and wide, only to spread the popularity of Shuttle, that he was also astrologer. You see, he created this impression among people that he's a doctor, he's a magician, he's an astrologer, and you can read signs and lines on the palm and foresee the future. He's here, there, and everywhere. You see, and Face sharp-witted and glib-tongued, and it's always ready with some excuse or plan to save a situation. You see the characters, how cunning and how they have been chosen by Johnson. We found Shuttle is a mere man, is a common man, an ordinary man, but he can play the role in different ways to motivate people. And his appearance impress people not differently. So this is very important thing that we find with this character, right? And similarly, the Face, the servant, is glib-tongued, sharp-witted, and always ready with some excuse, a plan to save a situation. As I told that, Johnson's intention to reflect these common characteristics of all human beings, that it is situation that build the thought and action of an individual, right? And Face, he is right in saying that he should be given a larger share of the projects, as he lives in the clients and dupes and takes more pains than Shuttle. So here the playwright in the opening scene throws some light on the part of Face. That is, play opens with a quarrel between Face and Shuttle, because both are they're quarreling for this thing, doing a lot, and they find themselves more important than others. This is the cause of their quarrel. So we also find a graphic account of the earliest phase of Face before he became Jeremy, the butler. Face was poor, and so far the appearance is described in dialogue is poor, thin, and he had company of all rogues and ruffians whom he had met in disrespectable taverns, right? And it's a typical rogue who reminds us of Mosca Volpon, Mosca one character, and it's as good as face. Mosca is in Volpon and face in the Alchemist. That face is much more nearly related to Mosca than subtle to Volpon. Then subtle to Volpon, right? Because when you need to write the characters and you are going to explain the critical appreciation of the play, that time if you refer the characters of other play of Johnson, how the characters role are matching with each other, then you can also create a better impression for the examiner to get to be awarded good percentage of mark. That's the common thing that we always take care of, that we cite examples, we cite characters from other plays, so that only to create an impression for the examiner that you have gone through so many things. You have not concentrated all your ideas with concentrated at a certain place and play, but you have expanded all your ideas. So Captain Face, he launches the soldier's apprentice, and at the end of James the butler, he's the rude and overbearing bully. He can fight subtle in the opening scene of the play, and this role gives him the required feeling to his confidence first and later success. Actually, he is the soldier's apprentice. He is affable, and he retires from the limelight as soon as his real master Lovewood arrives. And he became an equal. He did not play any mischief with his master. He changed all of a sudden when he finds his master come back home. And it was not only subtle who changed his role time to time, situation to situation. Face also adopt the similar method and process. He responds to his roles, and he changes his action from time to time, right? If it's dual common, is not as active as subtle and face. He's a dormant character. Only she was there only to draw the attention of, because they are carrying the business of money and sex. Only two things. They had arranged all these programs, right? Dole Kaman was very cooperative. She was a whole, and she plays well the part assigned to her, right? And her role is limited, and she was told to extending to sex work, right? And to sex work any feminine role that may be needed in deception. She sleeps with face and subtle without any hesitation, because that is her common business. You just imagine. The female rogue, paramour, and partner of the chief contriver of the homes, was however figure not unknown to Johnson. And you can say her an indispensable member of the house, indispensable to the precious pair whose games, plays, and whose dangerous fancy coils, indispensable to the intrigue, which complicates and enriches, and indispensable above to the satire, to the flavor of which her presence adds an ironical pungency, not to be otherwise obtained. Even the business of catering for the loss of clients illustrates less drastical the pretensions of the alchemist to holy living than to the sordid lotteries and that is what should I say? That is alterations of subtle and face for the possession of their common mysteries. For that reason, they are quarreling with each other, they're fighting. Who will possess that woman? See, and so these things that you find, then other things that we find, that Mammon, he is the knight who was in search of philosopher's stone, and he was very important and imposing figure who stands head and shoulders above the other tubes, because other customers, those were with subtle, dull, and face, among all those customers, even if dapper, drugger, and castile, Mamun was very prestigious man. He was very man of conscience. His personality was quite different from other characters, and he was also poetic imagination, exalt and transmute even the coarse and the vulgar into something noble and high. You can say that his passions are two: craving for money and lust for women. So, for this passion, he becomes a prey. Okay, so he stands apart and alone. He belongs not merely to a different social rank, as it is a different order of imagination. So, and you can also find the religion of the planet methods elsewhere in this play that forwarding and to all appearance so sedulously preserved give way to personage who belongs to the London of Johnson. Right. So we also find the same romance in Walpole, the hint of poetry in the worship of gold. You see. So keeping in view of the comment of the critics that we see Mamun weaving fantasies which are above the reaches of Face's descriptive abilities. He describes the virtues and procedures of alchemy with learning and delight because he was aspirant. And he talks of books written by Adam. He also reinterprets methodology to fit his purpose. I quote some lines of Mamun's here. I'll have no birds, fathers and mothers, they will to it first, best of all others, and my flatters salve the pure and cravest of divines, that I can get for money, my mere fools allocate virgins, the few that would give our themselves to me, cant and town stallions. These will affect to make me amused of. See, the dialogues that the poetry full of imagery, and you can see evocative of lust and gluttony, report with themes of luxury, pure beliefs, and showing occasional display of omnipotence. That's based on ultimate wealth that described, though partly the characters are epicure Mammon. You see. So, by profession, and when we come to Puritan, that the Puritan discussed how the times is discussed with this character, that in order to promote their holy cause of converting more and more people of England of their faith, were in need of huge amounts of money. And they thought that they would get it through the philosopher's stones. You can imagine. Even if the Puritans, those who are spiritualists and those who are giving assurance of divinity, and the same persons, they are also not free from this common desire and thoughts of common humanity. They are in the trap of that greedy and sex. And the Puritans is aspiring that if they get that philosopher's stone, they can also spread and they convert people more and more in large degree to their thoughts. So this is the common thing. So the position we are, the place we are, the profession where we want to establish ourselves, to become a long distance learner, long distance runner. So for that to achieve that things, and if it is not possible, and it is the thing that religion which makes individual very weak, and that thought of religion that alienate the potency of humanity. Only the weaker section of society they take care of this spiritualist. You see, and when they don't find any alternative, they accept spirituality. They know that if we go to church, if we go to temple, if we go to any religious center, then if we get blessings of all those priests, then we can achieve we can turn up all that impossibility. We can make them possible. We can achieve success. All the impossible will be possible if we go to them. Right? So this is that you can see that how Johnson very intelligently and carefully he has presented the characters who are evergreen all time to come. It is not only, it is the time 1610, you just imagine. Now we are in 2024, and during this time, we are during this time we are in the same place. We are with the same thought. We have not made ourselves free from this type of thoughts. You see, Puritans, we find this thing with, and how can you believe the religious person? Even religious persons, they are deploying some agents to market their personality, to market their charismatic personalities, to market their business. You see, and like Johnson, Shakespeare has also accused them of hypocrisy and satirized their caste, hypocrisy, and greed in their play. You see, because literature that reflect common characteristics of human being, you see that it is called catharsis. It is called catharsis in Poetic of Aristotle. You find when we watch the characters, when we watch the play, we understand how human beings are greedy, how they're running after money and sex, how they're competing with each other to surpass to other, how this became a common thing happens all time to come. Otherwise, we could not find this novel with interest, or we would not like to read this thing. We are not only reading this for the purpose of examination, but we also learn something else. We can able to read the inside of a man, what happens to human being, how the very brilliant persons and tower-like personalities, they stand like a common man, right? So, and that Ananias, violent and inflexible, and he has much regards for subtle language of alchemy, that written and in the stone's work of darkness, and does not want to have any talk with the alchemists. And even if another man, Anians, he believes that the sheer cause of Puritanism should flourish by good means. You see, so this play and the Christianity is reflected here. His attitude, this Puritanism, was indeed not unlike his attitude to alchemy, right? It's offensive by their hypocritical pretension and hollow and
Sir,
questionable lawn. Okay.
sir,
Hello. Action. Hello. Tell me.
Sir, can we consider this play as a satire of Puritanism and the society, I mean the Jacobean society?
Okay. Actually, he has put two characters, right? One is onions, other one is the Puritans. Okay. So they have come to settle to increase their business and popularity, right? So religion, and here a question comes to mind of the audience or the reader, that why is it necessary to accept a particular religion? Why? Because he has understood the Puritans, they have understood their business, they have understood religion, they have understood spirituality. So it is individual matter. Religion is a subjective matter, it's a matter of realization. It is not a matter of going somewhere and to discuss some important affairs regarding religious thing, unless, because so many religious things are discussed every day, but people remain same what they were previously. Why? There is no change found with people, and if any change really had taken place to person, they would not try to cheat this world, and everything will turn good. There is no corruption, there is no cheat, there is no pretension, nothing else. Everything will be transparent. Why there will be struggle between Catholic and Puritan and Protestants? Why there is struggle all times that go on in all community? If you say about Islam's, if you say about Zoroaster, if you say about Hinduism, if you say about any religion, there is a conflict, there is a division in their opinion, in their thought. And now Puritan to to achieve that philosopher's stone, so that he could able to motivate people more and more to spread his religion. You see. So this is that they would get it through the philosopher's stone. And when they approached the alchemist in England for the stone, they were galled by them. The Puritans wanted the theaters to be closed down as they considered them dens of inequality and disrepute. Right? It's not it has not achieved any reputation. Inequality and disrepute. You see, Johnson and Shakespeare accused them of hypocrisy and satisfied their caste hypocrisy and greed in their plays. And actually, you just imagine. Can you imagine the things that happens in Macbeth? Macbeth, Macbeth, just he was under the spell of three witches, and by the forecasting, when the man is under spell, they will commit any crime and they will suffer for that. No one will rescue them from that affairs. So the Puritan dupes onions and wholesome mark to departure. Johnson, as a professed Catholic, during the precious 10 or 11 years, can never have felt any attraction for the saints of the Reformation. You just mark this, but this was his first undisguised exposure of Puritan foibles on the pillory of the stage. Right? His attitude to Puritanism was indeed not unlike his attitude to alchemy. Imagine that both were for him social faiths, offensive by their hypocritical pretension and their masquerade of hollow and questionable learning. You see that he treats two Puritans indeed with a palpably deeper contempt than any of their dupes, or even than the chemist himself. The debates with subtle or insidiously contrived to exhibit similarity of their aims. See, the philosopher's stone is more effective and certain way of getting that advantage which the Puritans sought through and cumbrous machinery of long-awaited expertise, exercises, and inconvenient trace. Actually, Onions introduced himself as a faithful brother and sought to affect to understand by this as devotees of alchemy. The two professions at once assumed air of parallel fraternities. So the playwright erudite humor is thoroughly in its element when it's pitting two professional jargons against each other, as that we find in Act 3. You can also find this because Onions firmly believes that Puritanism should flourish by good means. You see, Onions thought and Puritan thought that if anything regarding that Puritan thought is going to be spread among people, that should be in fair means. See, flourished by good means. But due to that great faith, in the integrity and wisdom of his friend, tribulation, wholesomeness, and he requested subtle, but he disagreed with subtle and says that please the profane to grave the godly, I may not. But being a hypocrite, he concludes that casting of dollars is concluded lawful. And the owner of the house came and they threatened, right? And they made all of them ousted, right? And it is subtle and dole, they escaped. They earned money, they kept all that money. And when Lowit come back, and they had also uh, deployed Castile to fight against the people, those who will stand against them. And Lowit came and married to Plant, the sister of Castile, and Castile is happy when he finds that he could able to give better partner to his sister, because they are in search of that. And except that, because with that intention he had come to that place, and he was in search of a good groom for his sister, Plant. But Plant had come only to get the property of her dead husband. They had come with different intention, but at last the aim of Castile fulfilled when he gave the hand of his daughter, his sister, Plant, to love it. But this, the character that you find, and the intention of the character that you find in this play is very important matter to discuss. And it may be the humorous and satirical play. In spite of that, it is not only to merry-make, to enjoy, but to observe, to go into their intention, to study their intention, to see the common interest and common desire of all human beings we can find with these characters, right? And Dame Plant, undoubtedly she was young, beautiful, wealthy, but she was a widow, right? And she's meant to be a prize, and it's bestowed on love it at the end of the play. Okay, Dame Plant is very sense the least important, but she became very important in the desire to make her character expressive of her name. Dramatist has really made her of no character at all, but even we find some important things with that character. Because she had no intention, only if anyone was creating certain obstacle to enjoy the property of a dead husband, only she had come to that place, right? And love it, the character who do we meet in the first, and we also meet the same character at the end of the play, because he was absent but he became present and asserted his presence and accepted he suggested, he also deployed his servant face. He changed his activities and let them know that my master has already come, and unless you leave this place, you will be in problem. They left this place, so that all that property that he enjoyed and the beautiful woman, uh, he also got the hand of that woman, right? So the play, hello,
Sir?
hello. Actually, this is the play that we find. It's a satire, and we observe the character very satirically. That three people, Shuttle, Dole, and Jeremy, face, who played their mischief to capture the people. All the people, those who are present there, they are intelligent, they are established, but they have gone to that place how to progress a lot in competition, how they will go ahead of others. Anticipating that, they went to that place to change their fate and fortunes. But all the expectation of all people ended by nothing. Love, who came back home and found a beautiful lady who was there, and he thought this lady would be sweet to him, and he told this to his servant Jeremy of face, and he arranged that for his master. And the play is over in this way, very comically. And in the middle of the play, we observe the trick of cheat, how the intelligent persons became the victim of unintelligent person, right? So common men, most of times they play very, because one thing I have also read in one of the articles, only the people those are very shrewd, they all time or always exploit the established persons, and they try their best to exploit intelligent people in one way or other, and they uh, make religion, magic as their bit to make victim the intelligent persons that we find in this play, The Alchemist. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
So,
so this play is considered the most famous play of Ben Jonson. Is it for its plot or for the satire?
no, all times to come. because this common thing is science. Alchemist, one play that was science fiction. If you have ever read, then you can also, out of this literature and imagination, the scientists, they are putting all their experiments to discover something else. So there is invisible man, okay, as well as invisible man. So the scientist, a medical doctor, and he kept himself engaged in experiment to discover some chemicals so that he could make himself invisible. Why he wanted this? Because when he become invisible, he could able to enjoy his time. He could enjoy uh, moving from place to place. He will enjoy collecting money from people, and this way he will become rich, and sex and money became important matter for him, because when the man wants to put his head in different impracticable world, that time you'll find some mischief thought is working in its mind. And all the people, all the characters that we find, these are very common characters. They are living with us. Any man who comes to you, he may have certain relationship with you, may come to spend some times with you, but he must carry, or she must carry certain intention to find from you. You also carry certain intention to get it from others. So this expectation all times very active in our human society. And with this
Sir,
thought, very intelligently, yes, okay,
so you're saying that
hello,
this play is famous. Hello, sir.
hello, okay,
Hello,
it's
hello, sir.
audible,
Can you hear me?
hello,
Sir, so
yes,
you're saying that this play is famous because it stands the test of time, all time.
right, Jacobean time, Elizabethan time,
Huh. So
Elizabethan
you're
time,
saying it is applicable
and
for all
this
the time.
this
So you can
Elizabethan,
find the same characters everywhere in all the ages. So that's why this play is very famous till date.
right, right,
Okay, sir.
all plays. We are reading the plays 400 years back because we find certain relevance of the situation of the characters in present time, so that we like it because we are man of this time, and we are reading the characters of in those days. You just imagine. But we find this common characteristics and common thought with the people those who are living in our surrounding, including we. We are also there, part of that, right? So the relevance that we
Yeah.
find of studying this play, even if in 21st century, Anugya, is it
Hello,
okay? Is it okay? Hello?
sir. Good evening, sir. I didn't ask anything.
Oh, was there? putting these questions and wanted to know this from you, so I discussed. So now, should we wind
So
up
I asked.
this? Uh,
Oh,
okay.
yes,
Uttara's
sir.
no. Okay.
Sir, and I want to know whether all Ben Johnson's play have the same characteristics like comedy plays. Does it all involve satire?
Comedy plays, right? Satire, and through because the human nature is satire. Human nature is satire. Human attitude is satire. Human activities is satire. Human thought is satire. Right? That we like to be gully. Right? This is, you say that, you know that I am going to be cheated, I am going to be betrayed. In spite of that, we are going to that way. We don't keep ourselves under control, but we are proceeding. Okay.
Okay, so
But, for
is
this
there any
reason,
similarities
literature,
or difference?
yes.
Sir, is there
And
any
I was talking to
similarities
you.
or differences between Shakespeare or Ben Jonson? I mean, among them?
You see, Ben Jonson was more famous than Shakespeare during that time. Okay, and he wrote. Okay, he wrote all the plays that humorously. But I was giving you example of Macbeth, right? Macbeth was very close to his king, to his master, and he declared him head of the state. But he became under the spell, and he became very greedy. He tried to become the king of Scotland, right? We are not happy with the position, the things that we got, but we want to get more and more. Human desire is unlimited. When one desire is fulfilled, other desire comes up. Then we try. Throughout our life, even if we don't stop at any place, our desire, there is no end of our desire. It's unlimited. And that continues till last. Imagine. So this is the things that we find, the characters, evergreen characters, they reflect the common nature of human being. And through that, they teach, if you imitate those characters, you will suffer like that. So Aristotle, in his poetic, he says the same thing, that catharsis. Catharsis means watching tragedies. This character is called Katha. The
plays out of interpreting the characters, that is most important. And when we come upon these characters, subtle, space, depot, drugger, Epicurean, Mamun, not a single character is left. All characters, they're under the spell of sex and greed. And how this lust for sex and money that put human being in suffering.
Yes, sir. Understood.
We read for
Thank
this
you,
thing
sir.
only to learn something. Okay. So this is the
Thank
thing
you. Thank you,
that.
sir.
Thank you. Good evening to all. And tomorrow we'll discuss
Sir, your voice is not audible.
that is back in. Is it audible
Yes,
now?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Am I audible? Tomorrow we'll we'll be discussing that. Look back in anger.
Okay, sir.
So please repeat it once again. Look at anger, sir. What
That one.
is that, sir?
Look back
Look
in
back.
anger.
Look back
Okay,
in
sir.
anger.
Look
Okay.
back.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening to all.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Okay. Yeah. Whether you are there or not, because you are not reflected in the screen. So that I am searching for you.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Okay. Just wind up. Thank you all. Okay. Problem perhaps due to network problem, this thing happens. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Let's
Thank you,
stop
sir.
it
Okay,
now.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.